It's been 5 years. 5 years since I heard their voices. 5 years since I felt their warm hugs. And 5 years since the night I lost my entire family, on New Year's Eve. Tonight, as the world celebrates, I sit alone, wishing I had died with them. Tonight, it feels like the world has slowed down again. Snow is falling softly outside, covering the streets in a cold white silence. The wind pushes against the window, and the old wooden house creaks with every gust. I sit alone in my rocking chair, wrapped in a faded blanket, watching the dim yellow lamp flicker beside me. 5 years. 5 long, aching years since my children went away forever. This house used to be full of life. The walls once echoed with laughter, footsteps, little arguments, and warm conversations. The smell of cookies and hot chocolate filled the kitchen. Holiday music played every December. And tonight, this night right before New Year, used to be one of our happiest moments together. But now the halls are cold. The rooms feel abandoned. The silence is so heavy it presses on my heart like a weight I can't lift. Sometimes I stare at the family portraits on the wall, and wonder how time changed everything so quickly. I used to believe homes only became empty when children grew up and moved out. But mine became empty in a single night. Tonight, as snow keeps falling, I feel every year of my age. 80 years old, and alone. The TV is off, the fireplace is cold, and there is no sound except the soft, tired rhythm of my breathing. The world outside celebrates. Houses across the neighborhood glow with lights. People prepare for parties, warm dinners, and New Year's Eve blessings. But this house, my house, sits like a forgotten island, untouched by the joy others feel. 5 years ago, this time of year brought excitement. Now, it only brings memories, and a loneliness deeper than winter itself. The hall was glowing with lights and joy, yet I sat quietly in a corner. On the wedding day, I believed my child would hold my hand and say, "Mom, nothing matters more than you." But what happened was completely different. They walked toward me with a stiff face and whispered, "Mom, some people think you look too simple. Please don't come near the stage. Just sit outside." I softly replied, "But I'm your mother." They quickly said, "Mom, please, don't ruin my image today." 200 people watched as I stood up and silently walked out of the hall. That night, I wanted to cry, but no tears came. I only asked myself, can a mother really become a burden to her own child? The next morning, they came to my house. I was told, "Put the house in their name. They're married now, it's their right." I answered calmly, "I built this house with my own hands. When you build something of your own, I will gladly give it." They left in anger, and never returned. My calls, my messages remained unanswered. Days turned into months, months into years. I grew sick, weak, lonely. Yet no one knocked on my door. Only one hope lived inside me, that my child would come back someday. Years later, on a stormy night, someone banged on the door. I opened it, and there they were. Soaked, trembling, bruised, broken. They cried, "Mom, I was wrong. I lost my way. I hurt you, and I regret it deeply." I pulled them into my arms and whispered, "A mother never throws her child out, even if the child once did that to her." They told me everything. The pressures, the misunderstandings, the mistakes that led to heartbreak. I listened quietly and wiped their tears. Life brought us back together. I helped them stand again, with healing, support, and love. Slowly they softened. They became the same child who once slept in my arms. And today I say this to every parent. Children can be misled. They can make mistakes. They can even hurt us deeply. But a parent? They never stop loving. Some nights, I sit in the dark and whisper to myself, "Why them? Why not me?" This question has followed me for 5 long years. It claws at my heart like a wound that refuses to heal. People tell me not to blame myself, but how can I not? What if I had gone with them? What if I had asked them to stay home? What if I had insisted the weather was too dangerous? What if? What if? What if? These 2 words have become my companions in this old, empty house. I replay that day again and again, like a film stuck on a loop. I imagine myself stopping them, holding their hands, keeping them close just one more night. But life doesn't give second chances. It only takes and takes and takes. Their rooms are just as they left them. I never moved a thing. My grandson's toys are still in the basket. My daughter-in-law's scarf still hangs by the coat rack. My son's favorite jacket still lies across the chair. Sometimes I touch the fabric, hoping somehow warmth will return to it. People think grief fades. No, grief becomes part of your bones. It settles inside you like winter frost. Every time I see a mother with her child, every time I hear laughter from a nearby house, every time a new year approaches, the pain rises again. I am alive, yes, but I am not living. I am simply surviving, carrying a broken heart that never got the chance to heal. New Year's Eve used to be magical. We always gathered in the living room, wrapped in warm blankets, watching the countdown on TV. My grandson loved shouting 10, 9, 8, louder than everyone else. When the fireworks burst across the sky, he would clap with pure joy. Now, when the city celebrates, when fireworks fill the night, when voices rise in excitement, I stand quietly by the window. I watch the bright lights explode over the town. Red, blue, green, golden streaks painting the sky. Families cheer, couples hug, children jump with excitement. The whole neighborhood feels alive. But inside this house, it feels like time has stopped. I don't open the TV anymore. Hearing the countdown breaks me. Instead, I whisper my own words at midnight. God, please tell them I miss them. Tell them I still love them. Sometimes I hear kids laughing outside, running through the snow, playing with sparklers. Their joy reminds me of everything I lost. Every December, America shines with lights, music, and celebration. But for me, every December feels like a shadow. Every new year reminds me of the night I lost my family. The night hope died inside me. People wait for the new year with dreams. I wait for it to pass, so I don't have to feel this pain for another 12 months. Being 80 is hard. Being 80 and alone is a punishment I never imagined. Most of my friends are gone. Either moved to nursing homes or passed away. Neighbors help when they can, but everyone has their own life, their own family, their own celebrations. No one truly understands the silence that fills my nights. I wake up to an empty kitchen. I eat alone at a table meant for 4. I fold blankets no one else uses. I walk through rooms that should have been full of warmth. Sometimes I sit on the porch, watching families pass by with their children. The happiness in their eyes reminds me of the laughter I once knew. And every reminder, every glimpse of what I lost, stings my heart like a fresh wound. I talk to my children's pictures. I tell them about my day. I tell them how quiet it is, how long the nights feel, how cold the winters have become. People say loneliness is just a feeling. They're wrong. Loneliness is a weight. A heavy, suffocating weight that holds your soul hostage. I try to be strong. I try to breathe. But some days even breathing hurts. Because each breath reminds me that I'm still here. And they're not. Tonight is the same night, the same date, the same terrible memory. 5 years have passed, yet the pain has not faded. If anything, it has grown deeper, sharper, more permanent. Time doesn't heal everything. Some wounds belong to the heart forever. As midnight approaches, I sit in my rocking chair with trembling hands. The snow outside reflects the streetlights, and the world looks calm. But inside me a storm rages. I whisper into the empty room. My children, if you can hear me, your mother still waits for you. I feel their absence in every breath. I feel their silence in every heartbeat. Sometimes I close my eyes and imagine the sound of their footsteps coming through the door. I imagine my grandson running toward me. I imagine my son saying, "Mom, we're home." But when I open my eyes, there is nothing. Just the cold air. And the truth I cannot escape. I often think, maybe I should have gone with them that night. Maybe I should have been in the car. Maybe this house would not feel so empty. Life can be cruel. It takes away everything you love and leaves you behind to suffer in the ruins. My children, wherever you are, I hope you know your mother's heart still beats for you. And tonight, as the world celebrates a new year, I sit here, whispering your names, wishing with all my soul that I had left this world with you. The first few times were the hardest. Her own grief was raw and heavy. But she discovered something remarkable: pain shared becomes lighter, and hope given becomes real. She volunteered, she organized small support groups, she created safe spaces where people could cry and scream and heal. She realized that by helping others, she was helping herself. Every day was a struggle. She still had to work, she still had bills, she still had nights when she cried into her pillow. But slowly she began to feel strength returning. She remembered how he had always believed in her, how he had seen the light in her heart. She carried that belief forward. And with each story she heard, each person she comforted, she felt a little lighter, a little stronger, a little more alive. One evening a mother she had helped held her hands and said, "You saved me, you reminded me that life is worth living." Mary felt tears streaming down her face. But this time they were not only for sorrow, they were tears of purpose, of meaning, of love that could not be destroyed. Years passed and Mary's life transformed. She built a community. She inspired thousands. She raised her daughter with love and courage. And she never stopped remembering him, not as a source of pain, but as the reason she found her calling. She turned grief into action and tragedy into hope. Mary's story is not just about losing a loved one, it is about rising when everything falls apart, about taking broken pieces and building something meaningful, about being brave when the world tells you you cannot be brave, about choosing love and action over despair. And for every person watching who has felt the weight of loss or the sting of tragedy, remember that strength lives in you too. You can choose to rise, you can choose to create light, you can turn your pain into purpose. Because life will test you, life will knock you down, life will take things you never expected, but courage is born in the moments you decide to stand again. And like Mary, you can take every broken piece and she wakes up before the sun even touches the horizon. And for a moment she just lies there listening to the soft breathing of her little daughter in the next room. It is the kind of sound that reminds her that even when life feels broken, there is still something worth fighting for. Her name is Mary. And today is not just another day, it is another day to survive, another day to honor the man she lost, and another day to turn pain into purpose. It all happened one ordinary morning. The phone rang, and a voice she barely recognized said, "We are so sorry, there has been an accident involving your husband." Mary felt the ground disappear beneath her. She could not move, she could not speak. The world that had seemed solid just a moment ago crumbled into nothing. She ran to the hospital. But when she arrived, he was gone. The man she had shared dreams with, held hands with, and laughed with was no longer there. For days she did not sleep, she did not eat. She wandered through the house staring at things that reminded her of him: the coffee mug, the keys, the jacket hanging by the door. Every corner whispered the truth. She could not escape. Every breath reminded her of what she had lost. And yet she had someone who needed her. She held her daughter tightly, whispering, "It will be okay. Baby, it will be okay." Even though she did not yet believe it herself, she realized that she could either let this tragedy destroy her, or she could let it give her a reason to rise. She chose to rise. Mary remembered something he had told her: once you have the heart to help others, even when the world feels dark, you can bring light. And she decided that light would be her purpose. She began by reaching out to families who had experienced loss like hers. She spoke to widows, she listened to mothers who had lost children, she held the hands of strangers and said, "You are not alone."